Hi, Eight of Cups family. Welcome to your May readings. A quick reminder, guys, that this intro will be in the beginning of each and every video. If you're not interested in watching it over and over again, I do provide timestamps within the description box and the first comment of each reading. So if you've listened to this before, you can kind of skip past it and move on to your cards for that sign. The intro is a little bit about the astrology of the month, and it's really charged in May. That's kind of the word that I want to use, is charged. I think we're all really charged up. We're all ready for this change. Now, I've said it in a few of my videos. I don't mean to repeat myself, but it is true. We're in a 5-year, and May is a 5-month. So there's a promise right there that there will be changes occurring. As well, with this new moon that moves into Taurus around May 11th, there's a significant shift because we move officially into eclipse season. Guys, I know most of us are seeing the signs. We're seeing the things. We're seeing the changes. We're seeing that things don't fit us anymore, or things that do seem to fit us better. And then there's like that whole hesitation thing. And the month of May actually does hold a lot of consequences. The decisions that you make now, the things that you choose, where you are kind of pushed, and how you react all play a really large role in your future self. So it's kind of important to take these transits pretty seriously. Now, we also have a lot of shifts in energy this month. We're moving from, you know, the wonderful Venus placement in Taurus, where we got, I feel like, a few weeks to kind of enjoy our surroundings, enjoy the things that we have. We got to tap into a more sensual side. I think some of us were probably maybe like, I call it romanticizing our homes, enjoying our family a little bit, maybe getting into new routines, embracing the new weather, you know, and making plans for the future, because Taurus season really is all about the making of the plans. How do we want the future to look? It also played a big emphasis on our values, of course. Things are playing out around us, and it's making us question, do we still believe in the things we believe in? Do we still want the things that we wanted? And as everything starts to make this transition into Gemini, first Mercury and then Venus, and then the Sun will all follow into a conglomeration of planets that are joining this North Node. It's pretty important to understand that May will be pretty revealing. It'll be revealing as to where we're going and what fits us. And there's a need to embrace the new, which means there's a need for the courage to let some things go. South Node, Sag. We're in eclipse season, guys. These nodes are super important. It's really important to know where they're falling in your chart, what areas of your life are being heavily affected by them. And probably the biggest news of the month is, and albeit a month full of eclipses, is the taste of Jupiter moving into Pisces. This is much different than Jupiter's energy in Aquarius. Jupiter tends to expand the energy. It makes it bigger, stronger. Jupiter moving into Pisces is going to have a very different feel. And what happens is Jupiter slips into Pisces just long enough for it to make a square over to that Mercury and Venus. And it starts to tell a story about what 2022 is going to be about. So you want to be really vigilant around the middle of the month. Start looking at the way that things are unfolding. There's a lot of emphasis of this Gemini placement. Now, about a year ago, we had Venus in Gemini go through a pretty serious retrograde period last May and June. We've been here before. We've been looking at these stories for a while, okay? This is not about like the new shocking things popping up. They will, of course. We have Uranus making a square to Saturn, but the ultimate issues are clear to you. You know, and I think a lot of it has to do with our ability to embrace the change, our ability to get curious, to start paying attention to our surroundings. Gemini does have a lot to do with our environments. Gemini rules the third house, and it's all about that creativity. And when you think of creativity and you pair it up with the intellectual, the intelligence of Gemini, you can make a lot of really wonderful things happen. Now, I always say, when I look at the fifth house really truly belongs to like creativity and joy, but it also can make you lazy. Jupiter in Pisces can also make you a little lazy. But all that third house energy gives you the new ideas, the new things that we're creating, the new directions that we're going in. And it's about exploring them. It's about opening up to the curiosity. It's about communicating, of course, having those conversations, expressing ourselves. And guys, as Saturn begins to move into this formation of the second square with Uranus, it's really important to stay true to ourselves and our authenticity. Saturn in Aquarius is going to make you separate yourself from like the group think. And that's super important right now, because part of what needs to change has been over the years of us kind of doing what society, what other people, what other structures in our life expected from us. And now the 2020 happened, 2021 rolls in, and we're like, well, why are we even doing it like this in the first place? You know, one of my favorite examples of this is kind of what happened when we all started to work from home. Like, there was almost a death of the 9 to 5. Of course, it's got its downfalls and it has its bonuses. We could work whenever we want, but we could also maybe always be working. We have to invite the new in, and we have to tweak it. And what this retrograde season is all about is the tweaking. Now, we have Mercury that's going to sit in Gemini for an extremely long amount of time. It's even retrograde longer than it typically is. So you can kind of look at this time, and it won't actually be retrograde until the very end of May. Mercury enters its shadow zone around May 15th. Close to the same time as a new moon in Taurus. We're starting to get things rolling. We're entering our shadow phase. And I just want to tell everybody it's okay to make the changes. It's okay to proceed, because Mercury is going to give you a chance to perfect it, to make the adjustments. It's not like about the big commitments. It's about just trying it. It's about being brave enough to just explore the possibilities. Now, we already had Pluto go retrograde, so there's definitely internal work as far as our power dynamics. Where do we give our power away? This is a time in which we take it back. In other words, if there are people in your life that manipulate you or tend to make you feel like you have to stay in this box, we're definitely in the process of growing out of the box. And Saturn is also going to station retrograde, and when Saturn stations retrograde, it does become a lot about the karmic cycles. There's things that are ending. There's old storylines in our lives that just simply don't fit us anymore. Those bad relationships, the unfulfilling jobs, the friendships just out of, you know, social niceties. And those things are going to get phased out, and we have to be brave enough to embrace that. And by that, I mean it's going to take a lot of self-love. Moving into Cancer season soon. It's right around the corner. And the next several months, like I said, are an extremely karmic period. The summer is an extremely karmic period. It's about the movement. It's about the processes, and it's about getting things started, guys. So really important to kind of tap in to the things that you truly want, okay? It's also really important to break out of habits of stagnation and what's keeping you small. So again, those relationships, those jobs, whatever it is where you feel like you have to kind of dim your light or you can't express yourself. And we're seeing this all the time on social media, right? Like, It's no lie that with Saturn retrograde in Aquarius, we're going to start to see the consequences of what happens when you deny our freedom of speech in a way, okay? There's consequences involved. Where are you denying yourself from speaking up, from standing up for yourself when you see that something's not right or something doesn't make sense or it's not in your authenticity or integrity? I think the next couple of months is like this opportunity to be like, you know what, this is just not for me. And it's not about you and it's not about us. And we're not going to take these things personally. We're just going to proceed in another area where it's more welcoming, where we could have a stronger purpose. All of this is because of our drive for the purpose. Our world is changing. Everything around us is changing. Our priorities, our structures are changing. And so we have to start to realize what really matters to us and what are the things that we can release. You know, if you're miserable in a job, it may be the time in which, regardless of financial status or burdens, it may be time to take the risk. Relationships as well. If you're staying in relationships as a means of security or as a way to not be alone, you could probably expect those ideas to kind of dissolve right in front of you. And when we have Jupiter moving into Pisces, it is really all about the surrendering. It is really all about the dissolving. And in order to fully embrace it, you have to have faith. You have to have faith in the universe that we're all moving in the direction that is right for us. And it doesn't mean that other people are wrong. It just means that this is what's right for you. And of course, when we take that kind of attitude on, there's a lot of people in our lives that can resist this because they need us to be this certain way. And so this is where the friction of the Saturn-Uranus square comes in. And it's about, like, what are you accountable for and who are you accountable to and what really matters. So a lot of self-inspection, reflection that's been going on over the past several months that kind of comes to the surface now. It starts to like really take place in the material realm. There is no doubt that people will start to make the big moves, make the job change, move environments, change your houses, change your states that you're living in, change your political associations. It's all about the changing to reflect who we are now. And if it doesn't come from an authentic place of integrity, you can expect a lot more bumps in the road. But if you're going towards something that is reflective of your greater purpose and your destiny, you will find it to be the path of least resistance. So pay attention, guys. I hope you enjoy your cards, and I do hope that you all have a wonderful, wonderful month, and I'll be back soon. Take care, guys. Bye. Welcome to 8 of Cups Tarot, and welcome to your cards for mid-May to mid-June. I don't know how this year has gone this fast. Guys, I do want to talk for a second. I've had a lot of clients. I've had a lot of personal friends, like people in my personal life, that have really hit a little bit of a roadblock this week, and that's kind of to be expected. And it's all part of the process. So I know for some people, it's a really emotional time with Saturn going retrograde, Saturn being so strong in the sky this month. Saturn isn't exactly the happiest planet. He isn't exactly the easiest planet to work with until you understand and fully grasp what he's trying to do. Because in reality, Saturn has our best interest in mind. Saturn's going to make you do everything from integrity, what is meant for you, what is right for you, what you deserve. And sometimes in our humanness, we kind of get lost in the whole idea of, yeah, but I just want this thing to work out. And Saturn's like, yeah, but that's not the thing. The thing about Saturn is that we have to trust the universe. We have to trust our instincts, and we have to trust the process. If you are hitting up on roadblocks, if you are feeling like you're reaching some dead ends, when there's a feeling of isolation, discouragement, things aren't quite working out, it's a really good idea to take a step back. That's really what this whole reading is all about, is taking the step back. And there's an element here of acceptance for the way that things are, for how they will eventually play out for your highest good, even when it doesn't look like that right now. Now, I say this because you this month are coming out as this Queen of Wands, and we know the Queen of Wands is kind of all about the direction. It's all about the desire. What do I want? What do I need? What do I want my life to look like? How do I want it to feel? And I always think that the Queen of Wands is like really good with that manifestation process, because she's kind of the spark. And the Queen of Wands, sometimes she could whisper, sometimes she could yell, but she says things like, but don't you want to experience this? Don't you want freedom? Don't you want joy? Don't you want relationships? Don't you want, you know, the good things in life? Because she's not, I mean, she's capable of the work. She's capable of making things happen because her dedication and her vision. And she's also so in tune with her intuition that she can seize the opportunities. She kind of feels her way. She attracts the opportunities to her. And what I love about this is that your environment is that of the Empress. The Empress telling me that the environment is very fertile for whatever it is that you desire, for your dreams coming true. The universe is working with you. It's providing the environment. It's providing the opportunities. It understands what you desire, and it's creating it. And to me, these two cards together are a guarantee that there's absolutely nothing to worry about, that the things that you want are coming to you. But you may still be in a planting seeds process. Because I'm not sure that you're fully dedicated to what you truly want and desire. And I think this Empress is the universe giving you a chance to really kind of figure this stuff out. I think for most of my Aries, you know you want change, you know you want movement, you know that you want different things that are different from what you're experiencing right now. And the universe says, yeah, it's time. It's time. You do deserve change. You do deserve something different. But you may be a little back and forth on what it is that you truly desire, and therefore the universe is going to give you a little bit of all of it, a little taste of it. And this is all about that Jupiter moving into Pisces in your 12th house. This is all about the subconscious. And I just want to point out that there are so many aspects happening for my Aries this month in terms of your thought process, in terms of your beliefs. We have Mercury, the Sun, Venus. We're going to have an extended Mercury retrograde all in your 3rd house, not to mention the Uranus making a square to Taurus, 2nd house, 12th house. This is all about like your self-worth and what you feel like you deserve. And we have the eclipses in your 9th house. So 3rd house, 9th house eclipses is all about your ability to expand. Where are you now? What is your perspective on where you are now? And what do you want to come next? Now, what I love about this is that underneath, we got these moon cards here. We've got this Queen of Wands, and then we have nothing is yet set in stone, mutable moon. This makes a lot of sense right now because we're in some very mutable energy, you know. Jupiter and Pisces is all about being mutable. All of this energy in Gemini and Sag, it's all very mutable. And therefore, it makes this aspect over to Virgo in your 6th house. And that could feel very frustrating. Because I feel like there's steps that you want to take, Aries. I feel like there's things that you want to become concrete. And yet the environment is changing. Saturn retrograde, 11th house. There might be a feeling right now, and I do want to stress that it's probably just temporary. It's probably getting you to see something a little bit differently, maybe getting you to kind of have different or newer ideas, because the things that you desire is not yet set in stone. And when you desire something so deeply, this can be frustrating. But this is all about the release. What we don't understand, what oftentimes we get so confused on is you know, the truth about the manifestation process. I know you hear all these cheesy things about like, well, if you want it, just pretend it's yours. And that's great. That's a great process for some people, but it could make you stuck. It could make you kind of diminish the opportunities that can come your way if you're so stuck on it happening in a certain way. And so then we have bring love into the situation, new moon in Aquarius, which has everything to do with this Saturn retrograde in Aquarius. And I think for some of my Aries, there's just an element here of wanting to find your place. Wanting to find your place in the world. Wanting to find the belonging. And what I love about this is that just under this Empress, we have trust the niggle. What is the niggle feeling trying to tell you? Oh, Aries, if I can give you any advice this month, it's to trust your instincts. Which means you kind of have to step away from the reality of it all. It's very hard to navigate when you're in a place of frustration, you're in a place of trying to control the situation. Like it has to look this way, it has to be this way, they have to offer me this much money, or they have to look like this, or they have to have these qualifications. And you start to kind of put yourself in a box, right? And the universe is expanding. You are in an expansion period, 12th house, Jupiter. It's not a time to sell yourself short, and it's not a time to get frustrated with the things that aren't happening. It's actually a time to dream. It's a time to talk and open up dialogue with spirit. What I love about this niggle card is you have this person here, and she kind of has her arms wrapped around her, like as if she's, you know, it's a self-care. And I get the feeling that some of my Aries are kind of in environments or situations where they're kind of forced to love themselves, kind of forced to take care of themselves. Maybe recently or in the past few months, You know, Pluto, 10th house, that's been going on like forever. And all of 2020 with the the Saturn, Jupiter, Pluto conjunction in your 10th house, like the environment may have been rough. You might be in this mode of having to care for yourself a little bit, being a little bit more gentle with yourself. And I love it because she has like these two guides behind her, meaning you're not alone. In the environment of the Empress, she certainly isn't alone. And there certainly isn't, you know, anything that she really needs or desires. She could have whatever it is that she wants. And I think it's really important to understand that even if the actual environment around you isn't so welcoming, the universe is here. It's present. It's handing you the keys. But the question is, are you going to trust it, Aries? Now I say that because right here, first card out, we have this 5 of Swords. We have the 5 of Wands, and then the 9 of Wands. And this is like a lot of tension. The tension, 5 of Wands, this is conflict, this is competition, this is stress, this is feeling overwhelmed. And this 5 of Wands is kind of supported by this Page of Wands and this Chariot, and this is all very cardinal energy, right? This is all about like, no, I want it this way. And the Page of Wands can be a little bit selfish, and maybe there's people in your life that are seeing you as a little bit selfish, and maybe you're in a selfish mode. And that, you know, when I pointed out kind of that self-care feeling that I got from this card. And the thing is, Aries, if there's environments that you have to get yourself out of, you have to know that what you want and desire has to be a priority. Okay, the universe isn't just going to hand you things, especially during a Saturn retrograde. Like, this is the universe testing you. How bad do you want this? How determined are you? How many big changes are you willing to make? Like, we could all say, oh, I want to lose 20 pounds, or, you know, but like, you actually have to do the work, you know, you have to actually like do the cardio. You have to tweak the diet. You know, it's not enough to just want something. Like, it's okay to just put it out there to the universe. Like, I would like to have these different experiences. I would like to know what this feels like. And there might be some resistance in your environment, in the people that are around you, or really, honestly, I'm seeing this as your mindset, you know, inner conflict. And I think there's a part of Aries that's like, well, hasn't worked so far, and you may be kind of bracing yourself for the worst case scenario. And I do see this with the 9 of Wands. Now, the thing that I like about this 9 of Wands here is that it does seem to be a self-protection mode. There seems to be some kind of boundary that you're putting up. And I think that that boundary is important. I think it's kind of the first step to the manifestation process. If you are in relationships, environments, or situations in which you feel like you have to fight, you feel like there is a struggle to be understood, if you feel like, you know, you kind of have to fight for your, you know, even in a job setting, if you feel like you have to fight for, you know, the earnings, fight for other people's respect, it's not a good situation. And I think that you know that you have to get yourself out of these situations. It could be a lot of gossip. It could be just sticky situations. And you've got to draw a line on that. And there's probably some relationships in your life that could use, you know, some boundaries. And we have this 9 of Wands kind of sandwiched between this 5 Wands and this 7 of Cups. And there's a feeling of being overwhelmed here. There's an overwhelming, and so we have to pull back. I want it to be this way. And yet there's all this confusion about how it's going to play out. Again, with the manifestation, you plant the seed. You say, I want, to the universe, and it doesn't work if you try to control it. It's going to get really confusing. Maybe for some of you, you feel like there's all these offers, all these good things, all this good momentum, these gifts headed your way, and then boom, Saturn retrograde. It's not quite there. Nothing is set in stone. The guarantees aren't going to be there right now. The promises, the contracts, the actual, like plans, taking the action, it's not going to be there in the beginning of the month, because there's still adjustments that have to be made in your subconscious in order for you to be able to receive the Empress in reverse. Now, your environment is the Empress, and yet the center of the reading is the Empress in reverse. It couldn't get any clearer that you are not quite open to receive what the universe wants to give you. The Empress in reverse can be demanding and self-centered and selfish. Page of Wands. She could have her heart really set on the way that things have to go, and if it doesn't go that way, she could feel really discouraged. And I always say the Empress in reverse is kind of like when our self-esteem takes a major hit. And it screams being discouraged. And I think that for a lot of people, the second half of May, these eclipses, Saturn retrograde, it's going to beat you up a little bit. The environment's going to beat you up because your environment is here, the Empress. The environment is fertile. It's whatever you want. And yet, here you are not believing in yourself. Here you are saying you want all of this stuff to come true, but deep down inside, Jupiter and Pisces, your subconscious, you don't even feel like you deserve it. And that's exactly what has to get cleaned out. This is like the cleaning out of the gook, which means you've got to pull back. You've got to pull back from the things that you want and desire, and you have to just let the universe play it out. And it's so critical for you, Aries, to understand when it's time to kind of let go and detach. Now, we've got this Chariot card and we've got this Fool card. So if anybody is worried about the new stuff not coming in, you're wasting your time and energy. It's coming. It's here. Okay? It's right around the corner. And I can't stress to you enough how much your environment, your world, your life can change within the next couple of eclipses. By July, August, September, October, and definitely by the end of the year, life is going to feel and be much different. But it all really depends on your ability to let go right now. 8 of Cups. If you're determined for something to have a certain outcome, you've got to walk away from that. It's probably just not going to go the way that you want it to go. Page of Wands. There are things coming towards you. There are opportunities. And you have to be able to see them, and you have to be able to understand them. When you're in the Empress mode in reverse, you may not be open to the things that are coming in. The universe is begging you to kind of back down. Whatever you're trying to make happen, Queen of Wands, whatever your desire is, just have faith that it will happen. There's not a lot that you can do right now other than kind of emotionally detach and have faith in the universe that it will deliver exactly what you asked for. And really, it's your subconscious mind that's creating all of these blocks. It's creating this discouragement, this lack of self-esteem, this lack of deserving, and not being open, because underneath here, like once this is all worked out, the Fool card is fully ready to embrace anything. And the Chariot card is the promise of alignment, that what you believe and what you want is headed right your way. Like, literally, the world shows up and says, here, this is what you ordered, and you are fully prepared to jump on in. Well, the Fool card doesn't have any stress. He doesn't have any baggage. He's not wondering if he's worthy of taking a step off that cliff. He's just following his instincts. He's just happily going about his business. Which is an indication that the more you try to force an outcome, the more that you try to force things to go the way that you want them to go, the less likely they will work out that way anyways. And it's going to be a month of frustration and fighting and feeling like you have to defend yourself, feeling like you have to protect yourself. There's probably elements of you that's feeling very sorry for yourself. Empress in reverse can also make you feel very isolated and alone. And because she's right here next to this Eight of Cups card, I'm looking at this person kind of wrapped in red, and he's moving on by himself. And there's a lot here about being alone. And I see the cards where there is other people, and that seems to be bringing the stress. And I see the environment here, like she's holding a child. And maybe there's an element of you that's kind of looking around at other people. Like everybody else is so happy. Everybody else has the friends and the family and the loved ones. And I'm here alone. But you're not. You're not alone. The universe is working with you. The universe is showing you the things. It's doing everything that you asked for, but you're not open to it. Right here, this Seven of Cups is the indication that you're like trying to figure out how it's all going to go. Nothing's set in stone. Waiting for the contracts, waiting for the emails, waiting for the dates or the offers or whatever it is that you're trying to create in your life. And you're like, okay, well, logically, this thing has to happen and that thing has to happen, and it's just not going to go that way. And for most of the month, it might feel like nothing is actually happening at all. And when you get into that mode, the best thing that you could do is set down that desire. Now, I know it's easier said than done. But if you give yourself a little bit of space and time and remove that determination, things can really unfold naturally. And I love this Eight of Cups because directly underneath it is this Three of Pentacles. And I couldn't think of a better energy here. The Chariot, the Fool, and the Three of Pentacles, which is a clear indication that you're moving on to a healthier atmosphere. It's a clear indication, you know, if this is a job, you're going to move into a new situation in which you are more respected. You know, maybe you feel like you're not being heard or you're not being seen or recognized for your hard work. If this is a relationship, it's somebody who's actually going to want to build with you, build the foundation. This is somebody who's going to want to talk about the future. And it's healthy. But the thing is, I'm not so sure, like as all of this is unfolding, I'm not so sure you're going to understand what this Three of Pentacles is, because look at the Fool doesn't care. Because once you release that desire, the need to control the outcome, it just shows up at your door. And it may not look like the thing. It might seem temporary. It might seem like nothing much at all. It might seem like it's not really all that special. It might seem like nothing's really happening. But it is and it's long term. The new thing that comes in by mid-June probably, and I could probably extend this timetable out through the end of July once all of, the Mercury retrograde is over and the eclipse energy is over and that Saturn-Uranus square is over. By the end of July, things get really good. And I love that this Three of Pentacles came out here with this King of Swords and the Hierophant, because this is your ability to see the potential. This is this thing that comes in, job, relationship, friendship, it's long term, the Hierophant. Now, maybe this is something, could be in regards to a new job, because the Hierophant is Taurus, which rules your second house, Uranus, sudden job offers that work out really well for you. And I feel as if there's a long-term agenda to them. Now, we're moving from this mutable energy over to something much more stable. You have to allow yourself to be more mutable in order to bring in this thing that's going to kind of set the tone for probably the next 20-some years of your life. And I love that the King of Swords comes out, because this is the emotional detachment that you need. This King of Swords is so crucial to your manifestation of what you desire, because he doesn't care about that Five of Wands stuff. He doesn't care about what other people think. He doesn't care about hurting other people's feelings. He just understands that life is going to point you in a certain direction, and you've got to have a plan. And it's got to be in integrity and authenticity. It has to fit you. And the King of Swords doesn't really give a whole lot of attention to the things that don't matter. And I think this is you fiercely understanding what you want the future to look like and making a commitment to what that is, which means you don't even have the choice to settle for less than. And it probably won't be pleasant, right? This isn't going to be pleasant energy. For some of you, this could be the kind of stuff that really brings you down to your knees. You're going to have to probably take a really hard and honest look at how you create your own existence to begin with. And you have to adjust that mindset, because there's so much discouragement. And when you let yourself get down, and this could definitely represent some real bouts with depression. There's bouts of, not feeling strong, not feeling worthy. But it doesn't last. It's not forever. And the good things are right around the corner if you can kind of turn the Empress around. If you can understand that you are worthy of the good things that are coming in and you're open to them. Another thing that I want to add with this Three of Pentacles, King of Swords, and the Hierophant, is your ability to communicate. And I think that's what's really being improved. So as Mercury goes retrograde, you may have a chance to kind of communicate what you want, what you desire. And remember, he's a king. So it's kind of like this, I'm not going to settle attitude. You might have to tell some people in your life, and maybe these are the new people coming in, and it's okay to set the new tone with the new people. These are my boundaries. This is what I want. This is what I desire. This is how I need to be treated. And it's all about the commitment to yourself, which is all about the commitment to your happiness. Bottom of deck, Six of Pentacles. I love that the Six of Pentacles comes out here right underneath this, right above this Garden of Venus, Rest and Renewal card, card number 25, which is a 7. So we have a 6 and then a 7. And we have two 25 cards here. So there's two 7 cards. So what I promise you, Aries, is the things that aren't working out, the delays, the roadblocks, the confusion that you're going through, it's all very purposeful. And the most productive thing you can do is kind of back up. Because the Six of Pentacles is a reminder that your good intentions are not being overlooked. Now, maybe they are by some of the people in your life, but they are not being overlooked by the universe. And the Six of Pentacles is all about that reciprocity. So what you have given onto this world will return to you as soon as you are open to it. And the Garden of Venus, Rest and Renewal, is a reminder that there are times to push and there are times to rest. And now it is a time to rest. Because we have this card, Round and Round, card number 25, and then card number 16, All That Glitters. I love All That Glitters. 7 of Cups. There's almost like a fear of believing in it. And that's the roadblock, Aries. There's a fear of actually believing in it. And there's probably a lot of self-doubt. Like, oh, is this too good to be true? And I think the things that are coming through that are really good for you are a little bit more quiet. You know, like it's not the loud and shiny stuff. It's not going to be like the gigantic job offer or the perfect house or the perfect partner. It's quieter stuff than that. And it's all about like the building blocks. 3 of Pentacles. Is this something that will grow? Is this something that will last? Is this something that will... I'm so sorry, Aries, for that interruption. A little bit of a rambunctious cat terrorizing me right now. What I was saying is that I think that the winds are going to be a little bit more quiet. And you want to be weary of this, all that glitters is gold, okay? Because again, you're with your intuition. And you may be sensing that some of the promises that people make aren't quite as sturdy and dependable as you need them to be. And I think that that's all about this round and round, like this situation that keeps going on because you want this one thing. And this is what I'm saying it's all about, is like Aries sees something that they want and they keep trying to make this thing work. But the idea is that it's not about chasing the big thing. It's not about the actual accomplishments. It's not about like the material things. And that's really not what you should be chasing right now. Not like the big high-paying jobs or the fancy house or the new car. And if you're looking for somebody, like if you're looking to connect to another human being, there might be a certain set of standards that you have, you know, like, and I don't mean that to sound mean. Like, we should all have standards, you know, but these things might need adjusting this month. And I don't think it's about being attracted to the shiny new things. I think it's about changing your mindset so that you're really attracted to the things that are super healthy for you. And it's not about the fleeting things. It's about the 3 of Pentacles things. It's It's about bringing in the things that are going to stay, that are going to be there for you, you know? Things that are long-term and good for you. You may keep wanting or attracting these things that are like super fancy, high quality, you know, super exciting situations. And the universe is kind of handing you maybe some boring or less sparkly options. You might be feeling discouraged, like, oh, that's not what I asked for. Oh, that's not what I wanted. And that's where you're at. That's where you're at, because you have to understand that some of the shiny, fancy things that you want, the high-paying jobs, the exciting environments, it's not actually what your soul wants anyways. Because what your soul wants is peace. What your soul wants is those long-term, high-quality things. Things that are going to last a lifetime. Things where if people promise you certain things, they will follow through. Environments that you feel stable and secure in. And that's what the universe wants you to have right now. And so I think there's going to be a little bit of a rocky start till you start to open up and see from a different perspective what's trying to happen here. It's going to be a great month, Aries. Don't get discouraged by the negative, because it doesn't stay. And the doors, the windows, like everything's starting to open. Everything's starting to happen. And you have to understand that the roadblocks, the rejections, you know, the hit to our egos, they're all for our greater good. They're all protecting us from taking the wrong leap of faith. And you just have to keep trusting that the right thing is on its way. It's coming. You're not going to settle for anything less than what you truly asked for, but you need to understand what you truly ask for, and it has to align with what your soul truly wants. It's not about what your ego wants. It's not going to be about what your ego wants. It's going to be what your soul needs and what you came here to experience. All right, Aries, I hope you have a wonderful month. I will be back probably to do a pick-a-pile reading to kind of guide us through these eclipses and the Saturn-Uranus square. Things are going to get crazy. Things are going to get a little crazy everywhere. So hang in there, do the self-care thing, and know that you are loved so much. And I love you so much, and you're not alone, and we're all going to get through this, and we're all going to break through to that other side, to that happier, more beautiful life. All right, guys, take care. Have a great month, and I'll see you soon. Bye.